You think you know a quarter when you see one. Just a simple coin, passed from hand to hand, tossed into tip jars and change bowls, rarely glanced at twice. But every so often, one of those everyday coins carries a hidden story, a twist of fate so rare, so mysterious, that its true value isn't 25 cents, but hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This is the story of the 2019 War in the Pacific quarter. A coin that looks like all the rest, yet among its millions, a few were struck with flaws, errors so dramatic and so rare, collectors consider them treasures. And what's more thrilling is that some of these coins are still out there. In pockets. In drawers. In jars on kitchen counters. Waiting to be found, minted as part of the America the Beautiful series, the War in the Pacific Quarter commemorates the valiant efforts of American forces during World War II. Specifically, it honors the battlefields and sacrifices of Guam, a key location in the Pacific Theater. This historic design was struck at all three major mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But in 2019, something historic happened. For the first time, the U.S. Mint released quarters with a W mint mark from West Point into circulation. Just 2 million of each of the 5 designs were released, and yes, the War in the Pacific Quarter was among them. Now, most of these quarters rolled out as intended. But not all. Some of the earliest errors to surface were double die reverses. To an untrained eye, it looked like an optical illusion, like a faint shadow where there shouldn't be one. But coin experts knew the truth. The letters in Pacific and Guam showed distinct signs of doubling. Not machine doubling. Real hub doubling. The kind that sends collectors scrambling. A handful of these double die errors, especially those on W mint mark coins, were authenticated and sent to auction. And the results were impressive. Then came the off-center strikes. In rare cases, the coin was stamped incorrectly, the image slightly rotated or shifted so much that only a partial design appeared on one side. These coins stood out immediately, like a photograph printed out of frame. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date and mint mark remained fully visible. Die clash errors followed. These occur when the coin dies strike each other without a blank planchet in between. The resulting image leaves ghostly impressions of one side of the coin on the other. Imagine faint outlines of the Guam design appearing behind George Washington's head. Eerie, unintended, and incredibly sought after. Struck through grease errors were also reported. That's when mint machinery grease clogs the design, resulting in missing or smudged details on the coin. Lincoln's face, for example, might appear melted or partially missing. These strange-looking errors are goldmines for the trained collector, and some of these grease-struck Pacific quarters were snatched up for hundreds of dollars. Another rare variety involves coins struck on the wrong planchet or coins missing their outer clad layer. That means instead of the usual nickel-colored surface, the coin appears reddish or coppery. These minting anomalies are like winning lottery tickets to numismatists, but the real buzz came from the West Point quarters, marked with the W mint mark. Unlike the usual P, D, or S coins, these were released specifically to drive interest in coin collecting. And it worked. When collectors found the first W mint War in the Pacific quarters, excitement exploded. Some of the first W coins discovered, in pristine condition, fetched high premiums immediately. One of the most famous cases involved a W mint quarter graded MS-67 by a top grading service, labeled as a first week of discovery find. That coin sold at auction for $2,495. And that was just the beginning. In another stunning example, a collector found a die clash War in the Pacific quarter. The clash was so clear that parts of the Guam reverse design were visible behind Washington's neck. That coin, verified and authenticated, sold for over $1,200. And let's not forget about the so-called ghost strike error, a coin struck so faintly due to die fatigue or debris that the image appeared washed out, almost ethereal. One such coin sold in a private collector sale for $700. But the Holy Grail? A pristine War in the Pacific West Point quarter in nearly flawless condition, MS-70 deep cameo, found in an original mint roll. It sold in a private transaction for a staggering $8,000. Just imagine holding a coin worth that much in your palm and not even realizing it. Behind every one of these coins is a story. A person. A moment of surprise and disbelief. Like the teenage boy in Ohio who pulled a West Point war in the Pacific Quarter from a change jar and sold it online for over $900. Or the retired couple in California who discovered a double-die reverse coin while roll hunting, and turned that quarter into a $300 payday. But the real beauty of these coins lies in their accessibility. You don't need to be a millionaire or a seasoned collector to find one. All you need is curiosity, and a sharp eye. These coins are still out there, in everyday circulation. And with every quarter you flip over, you might be uncovering a tiny fortune. So, the next time you receive change from the grocery store, or crack open a roll of quarters from the bank, pause for a second. Look closely. Because in your hand might be more than just 25 cents. It might be a rare piece of minting history, one that tells a story of war, remembrance, and error, and one that could be worth thousands. Here are the most notable auction prices for 2019 War in the Pacific Quarters. West Point, W, mint mark MS67 first week, $2 for 95 double die reverse, verified $3.25 off, center strike with full date and mint mark. $4.50 die clash error with strong reverse impression, $1, 200 struck, through grease error, $700 missing clad layer error, $9.50 West Point, W, quarter in. MS70 deep cameo, $8,000, private sale, so don't overlook that next quarter you come across. The 2019 War in the Pacific might just be your next big find, and a reminder that even the most ordinary coin can hold extraordinary value. You probably passed one through your hands this week. Maybe it sat quietly in your pocket, paid for a coffee, or disappeared into a vending machine. A 2017 quarter, nothing special, right? But what if I told you that one of those ordinary coins could actually be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? One of them might be the rare and stunning 2017 effigy Mounds quarter, hiding in plain sight. And it might just be sitting in your change jar right now. When the U.S. Mint released the effigy Mounds National Monument design as part of the America the Beautiful series, it was meant to honor ancient Native American burial and ceremonial mounds in Iowa. The quarter's reverse shows a series of these mounds, earthworks shaped like bears and birds, symbols of reverence, history, and mystery. It's a powerful image on such a small piece of metal. But there's something even more mysterious about a handful of these coins. Because somewhere in that mass production, something went wrong. Across minting facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, millions of effigy Mounds quarters were struck. But not all of them came out the same. Some bore unusual flaws. And in coin collecting, a flaw can turn a common coin into a jackpot. That's where the 2017 effigy Mounds quarter turns from ordinary to extraordinary. One of the first errors that caught the eyes of collectors was a partial missing clad layer. It gave the coin an eerie two-tone appearance. One side gleamed with silvery nickel, while the other revealed raw copper underneath. It looked like the coin had been burned or worn, but it was a mint-made mistake. These coins sold for hundreds of dollars, especially in uncirculated condition. Then came the die clashes. These ghost-like images appear when the coin dies strike each other without a blank planchet in between. The result? Faint outlines of the reverse design appear behind George Washington's portrait. It's like two images coexisting on one surface, haunting, fascinating, and completely unintended. Collectors who spotted these rushed to grade them, and they fetched serious money at auctions, but the anomalies didn't stop there. Blockage errors emerged, coins that had been struck with a previously minted coin stuck to the die. Instead of a clear image, these coins displayed a mirror-like, distorted version of one side. Only a few of these are known, and when they hit the auction block, they caused a buzz. The cleanest examples sold for nearly $500. Another exciting discovery was the elliptical clipped planchet. In simple terms, the blank piece of metal fed into the press was misshapen, missing a chunk along the edge, like someone had taken a bite out of the coin. This kind of error is visually dramatic, and collectors love it. One certified example sold for nearly $250. Despite being circulated, some effigy Mounds quarters revealed strong die chips, extra metal bubbles near the rim or on George Washington's hair, where the minting die cracked under pressure. These die breaks added unique raised blobs on the coin, some small and some impressively large. They were especially valuable when paired with other errors like doubling or off-center strikes, and let's not forget the struck-through grease errors. When grease or other debris clogs the die, details are left off the coin. On the effigy Mounds quarter, this sometimes resulted in Washington's face appearing ghostly or faint. Collectors who spotted this error quickly had them authenticated, and some examples went for over $200. Even more curious were the subtle but controversial doubling anomalies. A handful of 2017 effigy Mounds quarters displayed doubling on the reverse design, barely visible unless you know what to look for. Some experts dismissed them as machine doubling, while others argued they were true doubled dies. Regardless, collectors were willing to pay premium prices for them, with some fetching well over $300 depending on condition. Beyond the errors, this coin also carries emotional and historical weight. The effigy mounds are sacred sites, connected to ancestral traditions and American heritage. To hold a coin that commemorates such a place, especially one with a mint-made error, is like holding a piece of layered history in the palm of your hand. Now picture this. A coin roll hunter in Ohio opens a fresh roll from the bank. He's done it hundreds of times. But this time, something is different. One quarter stands out, a strange copper tone on the reverse. He pulls it closer and realizes it's missing the nickel-clad layer. He sends it in for grading and gets it back as MS-65. A week later, he sells it for $200, and it funds his next collecting adventure. Or imagine a young girl in California sorting coins with her grandfather. She sees something odd, a second image, barely visible, behind Washington's head. It's a die clash. Together, they send it for authentication, and when the slab comes back, it reads MS-66 with clash marks. At auction, it brings $425. But more than the money, it becomes a cherished memory for both of them. Even casual collectors have stumbled upon these gems without knowing their value. A misaligned die strike, a deep chip, a clipped planchet, these small imperfections make all the difference. They turn a 25-cent coin into something that collectors chase, bid on, and treasure. And now you're probably asking yourself, how can I tell if I have one of these valuable effigy Mounds quarters? The key is to slow down and look closely. Hold it under a light. Check for off-center features. Examine the edges. Look for missing layers, raised blobs, faint shadows of doubling. You don't need expensive tools, just a magnifier, a bit of patience, and curiosity, because here's the truth. The next valuable error coin might be sitting in your change right now. That 2017 effigy Mounds quarter you nearly spent could hold a hidden fortune, if you take the time to notice. And now, let's talk about the money. Here are some of the most exciting auction prices for 2017 effigy Mounds quarter errors: partial missing clad layer, graded MS-65, sold $4 200 die clash error, certified MS-66, sold $4 425 blockage error, near mint state, sold $4 470 elliptical clipped planchet, graded MS-62, sold $4 249 large die chip near Washington's rim, MS-64, sold $4 300 struck through grease, ghostly Washington, sold $4 215 reverse doubling anomaly, debated double die, sold $4 360. So next time you receive a quarter in change, take a second look, especially if it bears the effigy Mounds design. Because one small mistake made at the US Mint in 2017 could be your ticket to something rare, something valuable, and something unforgettable. Have you ever looked at the change in your pocket and wondered if one of those coins could be worth a fortune? In the world of coin collecting, the line between common and incredibly valuable is thinner than most people think. And today, we're diving into one coin that proves this point better than most: the 2000 Massachusetts State Quarter. You might think it's just another piece of pocket change. But what if I told you this coin has been known to fetch thousands at auction? The secret lies in what went wrong, and what collectors are willing to pay for those mistakes. Let's go back to the year 2000. The US Mint was in full swing releasing its highly popular 50 State Quarters program, a groundbreaking initiative that introduced 5 new quarter designs each year starting in 1999. The Massachusetts Quarter was among the earliest entries, released on January 3, 2000. Featuring the image of the Minuteman statue, a tribute to the state's role in the American Revolution, along with a silhouette of the state outline, it became an instant favorite for collectors and patriots alike. Over 1.16 billion of these quarters were minted across Philadelphia and Denver. That sheer number might make it seem too common to be valuable. But here's where things get interesting. Despite such massive production, a select few Massachusetts quarters emerged with remarkable minting errors. And as seasoned collectors know, errors often turn a humble coin into a prized treasure. Some of these flawed coins remained undetected for years, circulating quietly among unsuspecting hands until sharp-eyed hobbyists spotted something unusual. One of the most sought-after errors for this quarter involves off-center strikes. These are dramatic mistakes where the coin wasn't properly aligned with the dies during striking, resulting in an image shifted to one side. Some of these off-center Massachusetts quarters retained clear dates and mint marks, a crucial factor in maintaining their value. Coins with a 10% or more off-center strike have commanded prices of up to $1,250 at auction, depending on their grade and visibility of details, but the real head-turners are the double strikes. These errors occur when a coin is struck more than once by the minting press, often at slightly different angles. The result? A surreal, shadowy appearance where parts of the design appear to echo. Double-struck 2000 Massachusetts quarters are rare, but when they surface in higher mint states like MS-65 or above, they can sell for $2,000 or more. Another fascinating anomaly is the clipped planchet error. Before a coin is struck, blank metal discs, called planchets, are punched out from long strips of metal. Occasionally, a misaligned punch results in a coin missing a portion of its edge. Some 2000 Massachusetts quarters with visible curved clips have fetched around $700, especially if they show minimal wear. Let's not forget about die cracks and cuts. These errors happen when the metal die used to stamp the coin begins to break down. Raised lines or blobs of extra metal appear on the coin surface, usually near the rim or around the figure of the Minuteman. While small die cracks are relatively common, larger cuts are much rarer and more valuable. One such example, featuring a cud near the top of the coin, sold for $880 in a certified MS-64 condition. Then there are coins with missing elements due to filled dies. A small bit of grease or debris can block parts of the design from appearing properly on the final coin. For instance, a Massachusetts quarter with part of the Massachusetts inscription missing due to die fill confusion was graded $58 and sold privately for $390. Now, for a twist that surprised even seasoned numismatists, a Massachusetts quarter struck on a foreign planchet. Instead of the standard copper-nickel clad composition, this error resulted in a coin with an unusual weight and color, resembling coins from South America. One of these rare finds, after authentication, realized a staggering $3,500 at auction. Beyond the technical details and minting mishaps, there's something deeply emotional about discovering a coin like this. Maybe it's the excitement of holding history in your hand, or the sheer thrill of knowing that you found something millions of others overlooked. Coin collecting isn't just about monetary value, it's about curiosity, patience, and the joy of discovery. Consider the story of a retired schoolteacher from Vermont who had been casually collecting quarters from circulation for years. One day, while organizing her state quarters, she noticed that one Massachusetts quarter felt a little off. It was lighter than the others, and the rim wasn't quite right. She sent it in for appraisal, and experts confirmed it was a rare foreign planchet strike. That simple discovery turned into a $3,100 windfall, and a story she now shares with every student she mentors in coin collecting. Even young collectors have stumbled upon these treasures. A teenager in Texas, digging through rolls of quarters from a local bank, came across an oddly off-center Massachusetts coin. It was sent for grading and came back as MS-66 with a 15% off-center strike. The final hammer price at auction? $1,075. Not bad for someone who started collecting with pocket change and a magnifying glass. If you're thinking this can't happen to you, think again. All it takes is a keen eye, a bit of knowledge, and the curiosity to look closely at what others ignore. That quarter you nearly dropped in a vending machine could be the one with a clipped planchet or a missing letter. It might be the next $2,000 surprise. Here are the most notable auction prices for 2000 Massachusetts state quarter errors. Double struck error, MS-65. Sold $4.2080 off, center strike, 15%, MS-66, sold $4.1075 clipped planchet error, MS-63, sold $4.700 major cut error, MS-64, sold $4.880 filled die inscription error, $58 Australian dollars, sold $4.394 in planchet strike, certified, sold $4.3, so the next time you hold a 2000 Massachusetts quarter in your hand, take a moment. Look closely. That humble piece of metal might be more than just 25 cents. It might be a hidden treasure waiting for someone, maybe you, to finally notice its worth.